This is Nightline.
Tonight, the happy face killer, in his own words.
And so I killed her.
You meant to kill her?
Oh, yes, I did.
A serial killer with at least 8 victims across multiple states. What haunted his unsuspecting daughter for years?
Psychopaths are in your DNA, but becoming a serial killer is not.
We're with the family of the recently identified Jane Doe.
What drives somebody to do something like that?
Opening up for the first time about that shocking twist.
I had to repeat it. Let me get this straight. You didn't just find her. She's now a victim of the happy face killer.
Plus, fight song.
This is my fight song. Take back my life song.
Rachel Platten's monster hit topped the charts and became a global anthem of confidence and strength.
I'm still getting the same kind of responses that I did when I put it out initially. It's wild to me.
Now with a new album, pulling back the curtain on her personal journey.
You said that this album helped to save your life. What do you mean by that?
And Pope Leo.
The next pope.
As America celebrates its first pontiff, a few facts you didn't know about Pope Leo and the surprising World Series video showing his true allegiance.
Celebrating 45 years of delivering to you the most powerful stories of our time. From ABC News headquarters in New York, this is Nightline.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Stephanie Ramos. He became known as the Happy Face Killer, his crimes spanning multiple states. Now, decades after his notorious killing spree, we're hearing from the family of one of his victims and from his daughter and how she learned the shocking truth about her father. Here's Nightline co-anchor Juju Chang.
I just thought, what a vile person, what a predator.
A serial killer hiding in plain sight.
Here's a guy who's on the move constantly. He's a long-haul trucker. So he pulls into one place one night, he's there for a few hours, maybe he sleeps in his cab, and he's gone. Who even knew he was there?
Taunting investigators, leaving his mark with a happy face.
You're saying that you're the happy face killer?
I am the happy face killer.
To put the happy face at the end of these taunting letters is to show the public, the media, whomever, that killing makes him happy.
His killing spree preying on women, murdering at least 8 victims across 5 states, perhaps more.
He knew exactly what to do. He admitted himself he has an uncanny way of finding the right one.
What drives somebody to do something like that?
Soulless, evil bastard.
His horrific crimes now playing out in the Paramount Plus drama inspired by her real story, Happy Face.
The happy face killer.
The trucker serial killer from around here?
Mm-hmm.
He's my father.
Starring Dennis Quaid as the happy face killer, told through the eyes of his daughter, Melissa Moore.
You're just like your old man.
I'm not like you at all.
What made you want to do it?
Well, there's a lot of conversations that happen in private that I felt that the world should hear.
And the lingering mystery of one of his victims from 30 years ago finally solved.
It was like a shock when they said what they found. Here it is, her Aunt Patsy.
Who knows how many he really killed?
Can you state your full name, please?
My name is Keith Hunter Jesperson.
And your date of birth?
April 6th, 1955.
Of all the notorious serial killers, Keith Jesperson might just be one of the most bewildering. A husband, a father, a long-haul truck driver.
There are 8 total victims in the following states of Washington, Oregon, California, Florida, and Wyoming.
Before and after being caught, Jesperson describing his heinous crimes with an unnerving candor.
I felt that by dragging her under the truck, that I would destroy all evidence of who her identity was.
He spoke to me from a prison phone in 2010.
What happened with the first murder?
I picked up a woman at a bar, took her home. I thought I was going to get lucky.
His murderous spree began with a woman he met in a Portland area bar, 23-year-old Tanya Bennett, described by family as overtly friendly and having developmental challenges. After a night of heavy drinking, he lured her back to his apartment to try to have sex.
Comments were made and different things, and an altercation happened, and I struck her. I actually had hit her in the face, and for some reason, I just kept on hitting. I don't know exactly why. Because of that, I feared going to prison for slugging her in the face and causing bodily injury, and so I killed her.
You meant to kill her?
Oh, yes, I did. I meant to kill her to cover up the assault.
Tanya's strangled body was found in the woods days later, but Jesperson wasn't a suspect. Instead, a woman who had nothing to do with the case, Laverne Pavlinac, went to police and used details of the crime from newspaper reports to frame her abusive boyfriend. Meanwhile, the real killer is frustrated and envious of all the attention the pair is receiving for his crime.
I was puzzled. I'd say it was something that just caught me kind of like off guard, especially when I heard it one had confessed to it.
So back on the road, in a rest stop bathroom, he scribbles on the wall, January 21st, 1990, I killed Tanya Bennett in Portland. 2 people got the blame, so I can kill again. And he does. 7 more women over the next 5 years after he split from his wife, victims who were often living on the margins.
Did you choke all of the women?
Yes, I did, yeah. It worked the first time, so I went to the second and third, fourth and fifth, sixth and seventh.
It's so gruesome, Keith, what you're describing.
I'm sorry it happened. Wish it never happened. And can we move on? I killed because there was a scare factor. I may be addicted to the fear of getting caught in the process of disposing of the body.
Jesperson didn't want to get caught, but he did want the credit. So he wrote a 6-page confession letter to the Oregonian newspaper to prove he was the killer. In block letters, he detailed a virtual roadmap of his murders, names, dates, locations, even the sadistic torture methods. It started, I would like to tell my story. The only thing missing was the name of the killer.
I think these letters were all about his ego and taking credit for these crimes. Whereas when we see other serial killers like BTK, Zodiac, the letters and the taunting are just as important as the murders.
So he didn't sign it, he just signed it with happy faces. And so I called him the happy face killer.
The happy face killer continued to strike. His last known victim, Julie Winningham. She was Keith Jesperson's longtime girlfriend after his divorce. He'd even introduced her to his children.
I think he viewed his victims as expendable, that no one would miss them. Something happened, in my opinion, between him and Miss Winningham that caused him to not see her as a legitimate relationship anymore.
Shortly after her body was found, dumped over a highway embankment in Washington state, police got a lucky break. They found Jesperson's signature on a receipt among her possessions. Detective Buckner of the Clark County Sheriff's Department caught up with Jesperson in New Mexico. He was immediately suspicious.
After we told him that Julie Winningham was killed, he never asked how she died, what happened to her, anything. He wasn't concerned. Yet this is a person who was described as being his fiancée. He said that they were in the cab of his truck, they had an argument, she grabbed her clothes and left.
I don't drink. I don't use drugs.
After 6 hours of questioning and lots of denials, Buckner didn't have anything to prove Jesperson killed Julie. But the next day, the detective got an unexpected surprise.
I received a telephone message from him, a recording on my answering machine. All it said was, you were right, I want to turn myself in.
If you hadn't confessed to Julie's murder, do you think you would have ended up murdering more women?
Probably, yes.
Jesperson confessed to the killings in exchange for plea deals that would allow him to avoid the death penalty. He received multiple life sentences that would ensure that he would spend the rest of his days in an Oregon State penitentiary.
Jesperson actually ultimately ended up pleading guilty. There's really no way he could have gotten around that, especially with, gosh, not one but 2 different confessions at different times to different people.
For his daughter, Melissa, her father's cruelty meant that for years she'd be tormented by the thought that perhaps a killer gene runs in the family.
Really just studying how psychopaths are made, how serial killers are created, and realizing that it's just, I wasn't predestined to have any of his ill traits.
So ancestry is not destiny?
Right. Psychopaths are in your DNA. Like, it is genetically passed on, but becoming a serial killer is not.
For decades, one of Jesperson's victims' stories was never fully told. A Jane Doe found in 1993 on a Northern California roadway called Pacheco Pass.
It was in June, early in the morning, when our Jane Doe was discovered, and she was actually discovered by a man who stopped on the side of the roadway.
Keith Jesperson confessed in 2006 to dumping a body there and gave investigators specific details of the crime that only the killer would have known. Back in the 90s, investigators had been able to take blood samples containing her DNA. Nearly 800 miles away, up in Oregon, siblings Dawn and Linda Bentham have spent years wondering what happened to their beloved aunt, Patsy Skipple, who disappeared without a trace nearly 3 decades ago. And that must have left a hole in your family.
Correct. It's an odd thing to not know where somebody, you don't just vanish.
The mystery haunted the family for years, until Dawn received a commercial DNA kit as a holiday gift. As it turns out, the company that took Dawn's DNA also works with law enforcement.
It was only just a few weeks later that I got notified that they wanted to use my DNA for a case. They didn't tell me what it was for or anything.
Catalano had worked up a family tree based on DNA collected from other consumer kits. Dawn's was the closest match they'd found yet.
Here it is, her Aunt Patsy's body was found.
And I was like, I had to repeat it, let me get this straight. You didn't just find her, she's now a victim of the happy-faced killer. Nobody said anything for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's just like...
We were just like, let that sink in.
Our thanks to Juju. For much more on this story, watch Impact by Nightline's Deadly Smile, The Happy Face Killer, now streaming on Hulu. When we come back, we switch gears. Rachel Platten's fight song became an instant anthem, but she says her new music reveals who she really is. Welcome back. Rachel Platten's fight song became a monster hit more than a decade ago. The inspirational Never Give Up anthem still enduring all these years later, and no one is more surprised than she is. Here's Nightline's Ushin Singh.
Rachel Platten, welcome back to Nightline. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm happy to be back. I'm doing great.
How's tour been?
It's been really a dream come true. It's been so fun.
I just saw in a video that you jokingly referred to yourself as the fight song girl.
This is my fight song. Take back my life song.
Gotta own it. Gotta own it.
It's been a decade since Fight Song came out, and I actually heard it on the radio while I was coming into work just now. What does it mean to you that that song still resonates with so many people a decade later?
I wasn't sure when it was becoming such a worldwide phenomenon, like, is this gonna burn brightly and then fade out? I just didn't know, and that it's now been 10 years and I'm still getting the same kind of responses that I did when I put it out initially is wild to me.
It's an anthem for so many people, and I feel like people fail to realize just how long you've actually been in the game. How do you feel like your musical style has evolved over the years?
I think that where I ended up now on this last album, I Am Rachel Platten, I feel like now I'm a much better musician and made better musical choices and had access to, I think, some of the best musicians in the world.
Sure.
But the process was kind of similar of making the very, very first album, which is I gathered the best people I knew in a room, we hit record, and we let the magic take over.
Even down to the title, this album sounds like a reintroduction to you in so many different ways. Let's hear a clip of a track, Bad Thoughts.
I'm bigger than the bad thoughts. I'm brighter than the light they're trying to steal. Oh, so why do they feel so real?
This album and this track is just so raw and deeply personal. How did you get to this point where you're like, this is the music that I want to be making, and I'm ready to bear it all out there?
I called it I Am Rachel Platten because, like you said, I felt like it was my proper introduction. I feel like the world got to know a very specific side of me. But what I went through after becoming a mom was just a range of emotions that I didn't know existed within me, that I was kind of not looking at. I wrote songs throughout the healing journey, and those songs reflect all of me, all the many sides. So it wasn't just showing the world this sadder, like more vulnerable side. It was also exposing like, this is me without my mask on. These are my journal entries. This is me unfiltered. And it feels like the most authentic version of me.
You said that this album helped save your life. What do you mean by that?
I think that the most amazing thing that we can do sometimes as humans is when we are able to transform our pain into something that's beautiful or meaningful. When I was struggling, I often turned to songwriting. And that creative process, playing the piano, putting my hands on the keys, like as any new parent knows, you can really be rocked and forget that you exist outside of that very, very intense new postpartum phase. It's really hard. And so returning to the piano and singing and remembering, like, no, I'm still me. I'm just in this new version of motherhood and finding out who that is.
How did you get to that point where you're like, you know, I'm ready to reveal this part of me now?
I think what's most impactful about the fact that I'm being brave to talk about my mental health and stuff is that it is coming from someone who sang fight song. Mm-hmm. And if I can struggle and I can suffer, think about how normal it is and how much, you know, permission hopefully it can grant to other people watching to be like, oh, okay, maybe it's okay that I'm not alone with what I'm feeling.
Recently, you were actually honored by the National Alliance on Mental Illness for your advocacy through music. What does it mean to receive an honor like that?
It meant so much to me that night, and receiving that award was a really big deal because I never thought that I would be at this point singing these songs for this cause, these songs that were so painful to write sometimes. But look at where I am and look at what it means and look how hopefully it can have an impact like my earlier songs did.
Are you writing again? Are you back in the lab?
As a creator, I don't push for the songs to come.
Sure.
I've learned now after 25 years of writing music, I let it come, and then when it does, it's like a faucet turns on and I can't stop it sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I do have a concept in my head of an album I think I'm gonna make in the future that I'm not gonna share. But I think fans are gonna be really happy.
Rachel Platten, thank you so much for joining us.
Our thanks to Austin. Really looking forward to Rachel's new music and will forever be a fan of Fight Song. You can stream I Am Rachel Platten wherever you get your music. When we come back, a few things you might not know about Chicago's own Pope Leo and a newly surfaced video laying to rest the pontiff's feelings about his hometown's baseball rivalry. Finally tonight, as we bring to a close this historic week in the papacy, here are a few things that might surprise you about the first American pope. Pope Leo, now leader of the world's 1.4 billion Catholics, still plays Wordle with his brothers, who say he always seemed destined for the cloth.
I think from the time he was 5 or 6 years old, he knew this was his fate.
He'd go on to become a missionary in Peru, where he grew to love a goat, rice, and beans dish at a local restaurant. The native son of Chicago also attended a World Series game in 2005, seen here rooting for the White Sox. Sorry, Cubs fans. That's Nightline. You can watch all of our full episodes on Hulu. We'll see you right back here at the same time Monday. Thanks for staying up with us. Good night, America.